Hello everyone and welcome to another tournament review with PMTT. Tonight I'm joined with Gav, who won Best Sports at the most recent Gauntlet event. How you going tonight, man?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. So thanks for coming on the show. So Gav took out Best Sports at the most recent Gauntlet down at Irresistible Force in Logan, Gauntlet 7. Before we deep dive into who Gav is, how he played, and what his thoughts are on everything, just a quick shout out to the other guys that also placed at the event. So the event was taken out by Dave Kerr, who came first, Paddy Carter secured second, and James Lynch managed to steal third. Gav got Best Sports, and Scott Wyatt took out the Best Painted with his beautiful Daughters of Cain. But I don't have any of those other guys here tonight. I've got Gav. So, Gav, how did you get into the wargaming hobby?
Uh, like most other people, well, a lot of other people, I guess. I had an older brother. He used to play a lot of role play, especially fantasy role play, Games Workshop. And then with mates, got into Fantasy Battle Third Ed.
Yeah.
Had a dwarf army, had a Skaven army. Took him to Nottingham, went to the grand tournaments there with it. Then I gave it a break for about 10, maybe 15 years while I travelled and whatnot. And picked up wargaming again probably about 10 years, 9 years ago,
Yep.
which was War Machine,
Yep.
because that scratched that competitive itch. Um, and yeah, and then traversed into AOS from there.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Now we're going to be touching on War Machine later in the video, but as this was an AOS tournament, we should probably talk about that. You took Skaven to the event. Walk us
I
through because
did.
they just got a new book. Give
I
us a quick
did.
crash course through what's cool. What were you running? Because I know you were really excited to come and put them on the table.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to playing Skaven for a while. I actually picked up a beautifully painted army by a fellow called Alex Terrasson, who painted most of it, and I'm actually now adding to it some of the other clans. So when the new book dropped, it finally I've had it for about a year. I've finally been able to put it on the table, and it's a it's a great book. It is a really well written book. Lots of tools.
Yeah.
I kind of find it like the equivalent to Cities of Sigmar,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
the you know the chaos version.
That's a good way to describe it. Like I know you've got all the different clans, and your list on the weekend had a bit of a mix of a few from
Yes.
memory. You didn't like really lean hard into one. So, do you feel that that's kind of what they're aiming for people to do? To have that kind of mix of you've got your Molder, you've got your Eshin, you've got your Scryer, or is it more you deep dive and go, I'm going to go really hard into one?
Well, yeah. With this book, with so much diversity in the book, I'm me personally, I'm still at that stage of finding what works for me, finding the new synergies, finding all these little intricacies in the book. But the book certainly has some advantages to running maybe two clans that are split,
Yep.
like a master clan and a scryer, or I mean, master clan is very heavy into a lot of the different mixes,
Yeah.
because like the grand strategies are all have master clan heroes left and either pestilence or scryer or this, but it's always master clan and such, master clan and such
Yeah.
and such.
Okay. So they're
So
kind of like
it's
the core, like they're trying to sell them as kind of like the core, and then you can specialize out as well.
I believe that, and you get some very good perks for running three master clan heroes, which I obviously didn't take three master clan.
Well,
I took two.
well, tell me what you did take, because that's what people are here to listen to.
Okay, so I ended up taking Thanquol with two warp projectors, two braziers. I had a Warbringer, so he was my hammer.
Yep.
Very, very, it's one of the most powerful hammers in the book. Um, I took 2 units of clan rats for objective hunting, and they were in the one where they count as three per.
The expert conquerors.
That's correct. I took a unit of 4 rat ogres, a unit of 2 rat ogres, and a master molder because the rat ogres are superb.
Yep.
So they get that bonus to charge. They come back on a 3+ once per game.
Oh, that's nice.
Command point. Yeah, they spike on 6s. So they were sort of another. They were kind to be honest, they're kind of a hammer and an anvil because
Yeah.
they've got a base 4+ armor save. You can stack it. You stick Death Frenzy on those guys, and they can come back on a 3+.
Oh yeah, you kind of want them taking casualties and people putting their damage into them.
Very good. So I also had one of the units of clan rats with a warp grinder, so he could tunnel.
Yep. Yeah.
I felt that was for some of the objective battle tactics for grabbing terrain, and late game objective camping and capping and stuff like that. So I also had a unit of 10 storm vermin, and they were acting more of a bodyguard for the warbringer for shooting.
Yeah. Okay.
So they get to bodyguard. He gets to bodyguard on a 2+ next to storm vermin.
That's and they're only 1 wound each, but still that's an extra 10 wounds that you've got to put through.
Exactly. And I took obviously the purple sun. Laushon.
Yep.
Because he's superb with Thankful, and he basically more or less won me a game. So that was very good. And that was basically my list.
Yeah, well, like it sounds. And a Grey Seer, yeah. Oh, just the Grey Seer as well.
Just a Grey Seer. Yeah.
It sounds really interesting. Like I know, like you've drifted away from any of the Scryer units, which I know were really popular in the last book. The Jezzails, the Storm Fiends. So it's good to see kind of these other units getting on the table.
Absolutely.
But like it seemed like you had an awesome time on the day, apart from one game, which we'll go into later. But it wasn't game one. Game one, you're up against Tim with his KO. And the battle plan was head-on collision. Now, this was the first tournament that you've attended with the new GHB, is that right?
That's correct.
So,
that's correct.
Overall, how are you feeling going into a tournament with a brand new, new battle plans, new grand strats, new battle tactics? What was going through your head?
So, I'd had about 3, maybe 4 games in this new GHB, and I was still getting my head around the GHB. It's and I still am. It's I find it very fun. Obviously, the battle tactics, and everybody thinks the battle tactics are a lot harder to achieve. I'm not going to touch on book battle tactics because that's a hotly debated discussion at the moment.
Yep.
But I actually really like it. I really like the way they've mixed things up, and they're making people really think about their lists and diversify.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that I'm kind of seeing as well. Like, there's no longer you just write the list that you want to write.
That's right.
You now have to write the list thinking about these are the battle tactics that I'm going to be going for, even to the stage where you need to, like, if you're going to a tournament and you want to do well, you need to read that player's pack. You need to know what missions are going to be played, because you need to tailor your list for those missions. There's some missions that you just are incredibly difficult to do well at unless you have certain units or abilities or effects that you can do, like you said with the warp grinder. That's almost a requirement, in my opinion, for some of the battle plans.
Yeah, and I think one of the things about Skaven is they have such a broad range of tools. It's kind of like that master of what is it?
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah, that's the right thing. So that they are pretty good at everything, and that's what I think you have to do now with list building is look at look at the scenarios and you definitely have to tailor to those scenarios. You know,
Mm.
you have to. It's, gone are the days where it's just punch your army off the table, the opposing player's army off the table, and I mean, you could say I still can do that, I guess, but this one you've got to think a lot more about. And Skaven, they're really fun to play.
That's good.
They
That's what you
really
want.
are fun to play. So yeah.
Yeah. So, game one got matched up against Tim with
Yep.
his KO. The
Yeah.
mission was head-on collision.
Yeah.
Give us a quick crash course through that game. How did that go for you?
Crash course. Yeah. So it was funny actually because when I arrived at the event, the last time I played Tim was about 2 years ago at Brishammer, and I just pipped a win over Tim then with cities, and he said to me, I've come for revenge," and this was before we got the matchups, and the matchup dropped, and he looked at me, and I was like, "Oh no, he's running KO," and he was running KO so I beat his KO at Brishammer.
Oh, that's
And sure enough, yeah. So look, I knew I was really pushing uphill on this one because he obviously has a lot of really good shooting, and I don't really like a lot of really good shooting. Um, so basically, turn. I'm trying to remember in turn
yeah.
one.
That's
So
okay.
basically, um, I think I started with turn one, and I sort of jostled around a little bit, bunkered up, um, and then he went. He didn't. He went to the middle, but he didn't play too aggressively.
Yeah.
So he sort of moved his ironclad into the middle, and it was locked. It was full of thunderers. He had like 10 thunderers in there. He had all of his heroes in there as admiral. He had the purple sun in a bottle.
Yep.
Um, he had a couple of units of Arcanaut company, and he had a frigate.
Yep.
And so he sort of, I think he took that objective off me in that turn one, and then we rolled for priority, and I got priority, and I've thought, well, he's in range. If I do not pull the trigger now, I could be in a bit of a bad spot here. So I set up for the attack, and I started rolling my spells. So I was like, okay, here we go. Dreaded Death Frenzy. Nope. Okay, that's bad. Flaming Weapon. Nope. Okay, this isn't going too well. So I was like, okay, I need to get into this. I need to get into this ironclad to take it down. So I had my Rat Ogres in position. I had the Warbringer in position. I teleported the Warbringer across.
Yep.
And then I charged the Rat Ogres in to take the full brunt of the shooting.
Down the shell. Yep.
And so he sort of removed, I think he removed nearly all the Rat Ogres that went in.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
the Warbringer went in, made the charge, and on a reroll. And he proceeded to try and cleave as many Thunderers out of the Ironclad as possible. And he's actually he's on -3 rend because of an artifact. He would have normally with his glaive, he had Devious Adversary on him, so he would normally have 8 attacks on his glaive, and it would normally be 3 damage a pop, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s.
That's very nice.
Yes, so he went in, and I think he had some saves stacked on him. He was using Aether Gold and stuff,
Yep.
and I think with all the attacks with the Fist and the Warbringer, I think I cleared 5, maybe 6 Thunderers out of the 10.
Okay. That's less than ideal.
So it didn't go. It really didn't go well, and I was really hoping I'd have Dreaded Death Frenzy and stuff on him as well, so I could just clean the rest of it up in retaliation or whatever. But he did a lot of wounds to the Warbringer in retaliation, and then he had his turn where he proceeded to fly away.
Yep. Oh yeah, he doesn't want a
Uh,
fair fight. He wants just to run away and shoot
exactly.
you more.
He repositioned and basically shot the Warbringer off the table and shot everything else that was nearby off the table too. And I thought, okay, this isn't good. I really expected that Warbringer to put some more damage into that ironclad and the guys inside the ironclad. So then I think he rallied, and he rallied a couple of more Thunderers back.
Yep.
So I was like, this really isn't going well. I've just lost my major hammer and most of the Rat Ogres. I didn't bring the 4 Rat Ogres back on a 3+. So they stayed off the board, and it sort of slowly deteriorated by then. By then, he was just moving around and just picking off, the other bits and pieces that he could. Yeah, and he ended up winning that match.
Yeah.
So fair
Yeah.
play to him. He got his revenge, and yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what KO do really well is just that
Yes.
board control, mobility, and in the hands of someone like Tim who is really really good with them,
Yes.
it's a matter of target priority,
Yeah.
and he's experienced enough in the game that he knows what he needs to shoot. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
systematically scalp all those pieces out, and then you're in for a really rough time. So
Yeah. Yeah. He played very, very well, and Tim's a great guy to play against.
yeah.
We had some good banter, and yeah, it was a good game. I had fun. It was brilliant.
Yeah, well, that was good. Because then round two, you came up against Matt Dale with his Stormcast, and then this one was the Realmstone Cache. So it had the objective in the middle that exploded midway through the game.
Yeah.
How did that one go? Because he runs a very different list compared to the KO.
Yeah. To be honest, I saw he had a big block of the Marty Reavers, the bow guys in there,
Yep.
and I'd never seen this before, and I hadn't been too cluey on what was going on, and silly old me, I was like, well, I didn't really ask too many threat ranges on the Reavers and stuff like that, and he could pick. He had the lower drops on me. I think I was something like 10 drops, and he was like 4, 5 maybe. So yeah, Matt had he had Crondies. He had the 30. I think it was a 20 or 30 block. It was quite a big block of Reaver Namatis.
Yep.
And then he had a few 5 units he had a unit of Liberators and a few other things in there as well. But the main threats were Crondies, these Reavers. Oh, sorry, I can't forget he had a unit of 6 Fulminators.
Oh yeah, just the casual 6 Fulminators.
Yeah, yeah, and the other, yeah. So that was fun, and they could sort of drop out the sky. He had the Fulminators sitting in the sky.
Yep.
So I was like, these Fulminators terrify me because I know how hard they are to remove.
Oh yeah.
So I bunkered up. I had some screens of clan rats in front of me, and I had the Warbringer and the Storm Vermin and all that. And I thought, right, okay. So Matt took first turn,
Yep.
and I was like, okay, here we go. The Reavers just bolted up the board, and luckily I deployed far enough back for him not to get too many shots into Thanquol.
Yep.
And so he proceeded to shoot at Thanquol. Thanquol took about 4 or 5 wounds.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he shot off some other chaff as well.
Yep.
With the guys that were sitting at the back of his Reavers, so that couldn't quite reach Thanquol.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, this could have actually been quite terrifying. If I'd have deployed further forward into, it could have. I know what the plan was here. It was a sort of an alpha strike, remove priority target, turn 1.
Yeah.
So then from there, basically, he did his shooting, did some magic, moved over to my turn, and I proceeded to run up into the center with all the Rat Ogres. Got Dreaded Death Frenzy off on a couple of the units.
Nice.
The unit of 4, unit of 2, and sort of went, right, pushed those into the middle and went, right, you've kind of got to come deal with me now. And they're Death Frenzied, so I didn't really care if I gave him the turn next or if he got priority. So yeah, we moved some stuff up. Oh, sorry, I forgot. So I was very aggressive with the Rat. After we put the Rat Ogres up, I was very aggressive with Thanquol. I thought, you know what? I really don't like those Reavers. So I said, how much is your Reaver unit? He said, oh, I think it's nearly 400 points. I was like, okay, that seems like a fair trade. So I cast Laushon on Thanquol.
Yep.
He got onto the surfboard.
Yep.
shot into the middle 18 inches,
Yep.
and then proceeded to move within 3 inches of that Reaver unit.
Yep.
He redeployed, but he didn't quite. I think he rolled a 4 or a 5, so he got a fairly
Yeah,
decent
it's a
redeploy.
decent move away.
But I'd gone onto the corner where he had more of a bulk on the corner, so I knew I'd be able to get more in.
Yep.
So basically, I ended up with the warp projectors. I removed probably half the unit,
Nice. That's very
and
nice.
then I hit the charge.
Very
And then with the
nice.
charge, because I have 2 warp projectors and 2 brasiers, he's still quite punchy in combat. So I then proceeded to take the rest off in close combat, and then the rat ogres got in as well.
Oh, very nice.
And yeah, they chewed some. I think he had a 5 unit of the storm guys with the shields and the spears.
The Vindictors.
Vindictors. I think he had some Vindictors in there, and they just started chewing into the Vindictors. I took a couple of those off as well, and then yeah, that was that turn. So I was quite happy that those guys were gone.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's a lot of his like long range threat taken out
Exactly.
early.
I mean, I had Thankful blowing in the wind, but it was like I need those guys gone. I've still got my major hammer. There's Crondies floating around in the fulminators, but we'll see what happens. Now, he managed to get priority, and then drop down the fulminators 9 inches away from Thankful.
Yep.
Towards his side, his line.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was absolutely terrifying. And Crondies was still at the back there also. So sort of Crondies shuffled forward. I think the fulminators charged Thankful and removed Thankful.
Yep, as they are.
Which was kind of expected. As soon as I saw those fulminators come down and then he made the charge.
Oh, they hit like trucks. Hit like absolute trucks.
They do hit like trucks. So remove Thankful. I said, okay, right, they've come there, So Thankful was removed. Long story short, when the cache ended up exploding, it went directly the 2 pieces went directly either side.
Oh,
left,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Of the board. So when the fulminators came in to take Thankful, they were more or less in the center of the board. So he moved Crondies across as well and finished off in the center to finish off, the rat ogres and stuff like that in his turn. Then it was my turn. I proceeded to bring the Warbringer up, remove Crondies. Then I got stuck into the fulminators, started to remove them. They retreated. I think there was like 2 left. Basically, it was a very tight game. Towards the end of the game, there was 2 fulminators. No, there was no fulminators left, no Crondies. I had 2 units of clan rats left that had deep striked one onto the objective onto the right, one onto the left that had gone through tunnels and stuff. And I think the game basically came down to Matt not killing 1 clan rat.
You can't get much closer than a single clan
it was
rat.
A very, very tight game. I think it ended 14-13 to me, because if he'd have killed that 1 clan rat, it would have been a tie.
Yeah, okay.
It would have been a dead tie. So,
and that's I'm finding like the results from the weekend definitely showed this. The games are a lot tighter now. A lot tighter. There's very few 20 zips. It's definitely more 13 7s, 14 6s. There are still a couple of the big wins, but a lot of games I'm seeing are coming down to that last turn battle tactic and grand strategy. And
absolutely, and when you get to turn 4, and you're looking at your battle tactics and you're scratching your head. It's like, what the heck can I get now? You've really got to have a plan of, okay, we've got to, You've really got to think about it.
And I think it really comes down to like your list design as well. Like you need Gallivette units that can kill other Gallivets. You need your general to be able to take out something small in combat, but you need to then remember that in the game and set up for a next turn. So this turn you half kill that unit of chaff for your general to go into next turn and get this one's mine, or you've really got to plan stuff out. So 100%.
100%. You've really got to forward think. it's yeah. I'm enjoying it. You know, it's good.
Oh yeah,
It's good.
I'm really liking it too. So
Better than moving three monsters forward and automatically scoring your point.
yeah, yeah. I reckon with the new battle tactics, it's really the skill ceiling of the game has definitely risen.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so you're
100%.
sitting on 1-1 at the moment,
Yes.
and then last round you go into Barry with
Big,
his
big
Stormcast.
bad Barry.
Yeah. Now this one was over fairly quickly, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it was.
You were playing close to the chest. What did Barry have that made this game so fast?
Like the 80% of the people that attended the tournament, he had a beautiful purple sun.
The purple sun.
The beautiful purple sun in
Yeah,
all its glory.
yeah. He's actually converted his, and it does look pretty
It,
damn nice. So
yeah, I felt the fury. Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
So what happened in that game?
Okay, so this was tricky, and I may have had a little bit of a brain fart when I was looking at this mission because I'd never actually played this mission before, and it was very spread out. There was four objectives on my side, and was it three or four? It was like the L shape,
Yeah, I think there's three on each side.
three and three. That's right. And it was quite spread out, So I was like, okay, one, two more, okay. So I sort of tried to deploy a little bit to my right hand corner, which was as far away from him,
Yep.
and he had Gardas, Crondies. He had the teleporting banner, translocation banner. He
Yep.
had a unit of 10 Stormbolt crossbows,
Yep.
which I haven't really come up against before. And he had the purple sun and, a few units of Vindicators and this and that. So I was like, okay, so it's similar list to what I've just faced, but he didn't have Fulminators. So I was actually, okay, there's no
You're
Fulminators.
getting a bit confident there. Like,
Yeah, there's
I can
no
do this. I can
Fulminators.
do
That's
this.
brilliant. Okay, this might be a bit better. So I deploy a little bit loosely, a little bit probably too loosely. I didn't screen as well as I should have done. Anyway, so he obviously I'm at 10 drops. I think Barry was at I don't know 3, 2, 3, 4 maybe. So he chose to go first,
Yep.
and I was like, okay, brilliant. Here we go. So he Gardas is in the air.
Yep.
The crossbow boys are in the air. So he translocates Crondies
Yep.
9 inches away from my screen.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, right, this is good. Yeah, okay. Then he proceeds to launch the purple sun.
Yep. Yeah. As to be expected with that
As to be
list.
expected. Now I have behind that screen, I have Thankul to the left,
Yep.
the Warbringer precisely 9-10 inches to the right of Thankul.
Yeah.
Right, and there's this nice plum gap in the middle, sort of that area.
You say it's about a sun-sized gap, or
About a sun-sized gap.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
So I'm like, oh god, oh no. I'm like, okay, no, this is all right. This is all good. I've got +4 to dispel this because actually it was +3 at the time. It was plus
yep,
3. I've got +3. I've got Thankul here. No worries. I've got
yeah,
+3 to dispel this. And I'm not sure. Oh, and Crondies had +3 to cast.
yes, yeah,
So he rolls a 9, which takes that. What's that? 12,
takes
9,
it to a
11,
12,
12.
yeah,
Yeah. So I'm like, I need to roll
uh,
a natural 10 here to dispel this.
yep,
I'm like, I'm in some trouble. I'm in
yeah,
some trouble here. Of course, I don't get it. I roll like a 4 or a 5, and I'm like, yep, okay. So sun's gone off. Yep.
yep,
So sun went off. He proceeds to, do his other stuff. Stacks his other saves onto Crondies. He was sitting on like a 1-up save or whatever.
yep,
Mystic Shield and all the other stuff. So he moves the sun at the end, right into Thankul, 3 inches away from Thankul,
yep,
sort of towards the Warbringer, but you
yep.
know. So I'm like, here we go, here we go.
One
He
in
rolls
six
it.
chance.
One, one pops up. So I'm like, no. So
Yep.
off pops Thankful,
Yep.
and I'm like, there goes my +3 to dispel,
Yeah.
gone straight away,
Oh yeah.
right? And and I'm thinking, I'm so stupid. I was like, I'm so stupid. I should have seen this. He had translate. Anyway, that happened. I'm like, hey. Then he drops Gardas next to Crondies.
Yep.
Then he drops his Storm crossbow bolt boys down
Yep.
just behind that. So I had already finest out the Warbringer because I felt like something was going to happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had my Storm Vermin sat next to the Warbringer just in case there was some
Yep.
shooting shenanigans coming
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
Because
So
he's
like,
my hammer, right?
you played a little bit loosely, but you weren't an idiot.
But
You still
I
knew what you
wasn't
were
an
doing.
idiot. I
Yeah.
had some, just in case. But, anyway. So he proceeded to loose about 38 to 40 shots into the Warbringer
Oh,
from the Bolt Boys.
they put out some firepower.
They do, yeah. And anyway, so at the end of all that shooting, I was left with no Storm Vermin left because their bodyguard saved all the things to the Warbringer. The Warbringer took something like 3 or 4 wounds
Not.
after his 5+ wards and all
Yeah.
that.
That's not too bad.
So
Not too
that was
bad.
good. I was like, okay, I've got a good alpha here.
Yeah.
So basically, I'd removed the Storm Vermin off the screen. So when he tried to make the charge with Crondies, he needed like a 10. I think he needed an 11 to get in
Yeah. Okay.
with him. So basically, he went to make the charge. He couldn't make the charge. So he was there with Gardas. Although he was on a 1-up save, Gardas was giving him the 5+ ward. But I
Well,
thought, you know what? I've got some plans here. I think I can do something here.
yeah.
So
So he'd
I was
fully
like,
commit. He'd fully committed at that
he'd
stage, and
fully committed
you were
most
ready
of
for the
it.
counter punch.
Yeah, if I could get dreaded death frenzy off on the Warbringer, right? Pump him up. So because he'd get my son off, pump him up. He'd be at -4 rend,
Oh, that's nice.
right? So my plan was to remove Gardas, right?
Yep.
Then because Gardas would have been on a -4 rend,
Yep. That would have just
right?
ripped him
And then he'd
apart.
have just had his ward saves, and I had 8 attacks. So I went, right, here we go, my turn, right? Plan it all out. Hero phase, right? To dispel his son, I needed to roll a natural 9,
Yeah.
right? I thought, right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go balls to the wall here. There's no way he's going to roll another one,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah. What
He's
like
not
the
going to roll another
chances?
one.
It's 1 in 36.
Chances of him rolling another one is out the window. So
Yep.
I loaded the Warbringer up. I did Devious Adversary, gave him +2 attacks to all his weapon profiles. Did all the shenanigans. Had him buffed up to the 9s. I launched my own Purple Sun
Yep.
at him, and I got that off with the Grey Seer.
Yep.
And sure enough, he was in that aura.
Oh
And
yeah.
I had my son next to Crondies, next to Gardas, and right next to his Bolt Boys.
Oh, that's exactly what
right?
you needed.
And they were all within 3 inches.
Oh, very nice.
Right. So I was like, okay, here we go. Let's see if I can roll some ones.
Yeah.
So 5, 4, 5.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, didn't get that off. No worries. I've still got the -4 rend from the Warbringer when he gets into the charge, because there was, unless he was going to roll a really good redeploy, I could still get into some of them.
Yeah, and even if you did, you've still got other units to go into.
Exactly. I still had the Rat Ogres there. They were right there to go in as well. They were ready for their charge. And it was like, right, okay, right, I've got to move my son. So I was like, yeah, do your son. So he moved his son a bit closer to the Warbringer. I was like, I looked at him and I went, this can't happen again. I said to him right there and then, I said, you know what? If you roll a 1, I'm going to shake your hand and I'm going to walk away.
Yeah.
And he went, all right. And we both, when time slows down and you see that dice just rolling through, it happened. And it went plink, 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 1. And I just went, no!
Oh,
And I think the whole place just turned around and laughed and just stared at me, and I was like, "Yep, it happened."
yeah.
And I
Well,
went,
you
Gary,
basically stopped the tournament.
yeah, I went, Gary, Barry, Big Bad Barry,
Yep.
good game.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And shook his hand, and I said, "You know what?" I said, "For that to happen," I said, "Well done." I said, "You know what? You went for the play.
Yeah.
It happened. Good job."
That's
So
it. That's
yeah,
it. He saw an opportunity. He took the opportunity. It was unlikely,
yeah,
but it was high risk, high reward. If he didn't kill that Warbringer, there's a decent chance you take out most of his hitting power in
yeah.
your turn. So,
I got all of that off as well. I got the dreaded death frenzy. You know, it would have been glorious, but no. Yeah.
Purple Sun.
So that was it. They were three really good games. I learned a lot at the tournament. Really, yeah, I had a really good time. It was
That's
really
good.
good.
And that at the end of the day, it's a hobby that we all play to enjoy. If you're not having
That's right.
fun, you're doing it wrong. It doesn't matter if you're winning or losing. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.
That's right.
So, so you ended up on 1-2. But you went home with a little best sports trophy, which is
I did,
fantastic,
yeah.
which means that you had an awesome time, but also your opponents had a good time.
Yeah.
So, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's a social contract with this game. It is a two-player game. Doesn't matter how much fun you have. If your opponent doesn't enjoy themselves, you're doing something wrong. So,
Exactly right.
but that is fantastic. Um, so, apart from the Purple Sun, because I know you have some very strong feelings about that, sum up kind of how you're feeling about the new GHB, because I know we've kind of discussed it a little bit in between the other games, but overall, how are you feeling about it?
Does this include book battle tactics
This
or?
includes battle tactics.
Okay. Okay. My views, and I've had lots of discussions with various other people about this matter.
Yep,
Um, so the GHB. Firstly, I love the GHB. I
that's
think the
good.
GHB is fantastic. I think the battle tactics are harder to achieve for everybody. And I think that is amazing. It really makes you think about the tactics. It really makes you think about list composition, about how you design your list. Brilliant, brilliant. From what I've played, I've had tight, close games. Uh, yeah, within reason. Uh, and yeah, no, perfect. So my view on the book battle tactics with the GHB is this game will never be balanced.
Yep.
It's just one of those things. You know, we have to live with that, and that's fine. You know, there may be some books that have a leg up in some GHBs, maybe. You know, like it may just be some books may be better in some GHBs.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard for some tournaments. I think competitive tournaments, maybe that I would personally like to see everybody on a level playing field with battle tactics, because
Yeah.
the books already give some armies a leg up. Okay. And I know there's some people like some people with Nurgle books that say, well, I can't run all my flyers because I haven't got Galatian veterans. But what Games Workshop is trying to do, I think, is make you use more of the army. Don't just use flies. Use the plague bearers. Use this. Use that. You know,
Yeah.
they're trying to broaden your army. They're trying to expand on probably what you own. It's you know.
Well, when it comes down
Um,
to it, they are a business, and their business is selling models.
yeah,
So
exactly.
if they can sell more models, I'm one thing that I'm noticing in a lot of lists is, as much as there's no cookie cutter lists because we've just had a new GHB, a lot of the lists they look like proper armies again. Like you've got some infantry,
Yes.
you've got some cavalry, you've got some
Yes.
range, you've got a monster or two. It's back to a full like mixed combined arms, which
Yeah.
is really good to see because it looks a lot
Yeah.
more impressive on the table than just
Absolutely.
this is my one unit that is the best points for damage ratio, and
Yeah.
I've taken 8 of them.
Yeah.
Let's go.
100%. 100%. And you need to design your army around the battle tactics. You know, I mean, this is for 6 months. You know, there may be obviously. Well, I don't know if it is for 6 months. Who knows? It's this season.
Yes.
So, you know, we don't know really, do we? So, but, you know, it might be completely different in another 6 months. But when these games have become so tight because of the new GHB and the tactics, when you're playing in a fun, competitive environment, because it can be fun and competitive,
Oh, definitely.
it can be a little bit disheartening when you're scratching your head for a battle tactic because you're on turn 3, you're on turn 4, you haven't got any. My Skaven doesn't have any particularly easy battle tactics by far, even grand strategies by far. But if you play someone that say can go, okay, well, I'm just going to move over here, and I've scored my battle tactic.
Yeah.
It becomes those 2 points become so critical in these tighter games now, because the games are tighter.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
sure 2-3 points in it, and that battle tactic, that one battle tactic, makes or breaks your game.
Yeah.
But and I also understand that new people coming to the hobby want to be able to use all of their toys, play with all of the rules in their books. So it is a very hard area to navigate. I get that,
Yeah.
because there is new players, there is competitive players, there's older players. It's hard. But personally, I would like to see a little bit more of a level playing field so everybody has that. Everybody has the same. They're all playing with the same ball.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Yeah.
I touch on that slightly in my most recent blog article that will be going out soon about
Mm,
comping games, adding in house rules, adding tweaks.
mm,
One of the things I mentioned in there, I go into a little bit more depth, is chess clocks, which I
mm.
know because you and me, we both have a War Machine background. We
Yep.
played that before we started playing AOS. We're very comfortable with chess clocks because
Yep.
we're used to them. Whereas some of the other players that I've been playing against recently, they're not comfortable.
Yep.
They don't want to see them added, especially because it's an additional rule. And it's the
Yeah.
same with the battle tactics. Some people are banning some of them. Some people are picking and choosing and going, no, well, you guys get these 5 in your battle tome. You're only actually allowed to use these 3 because
Yeah.
those other 2 are just too easy. Or vice versa. They're just, no, we're getting rid of this because it's not good for the game at the moment. So
Yeah.
you guys can check out the blog article on our website. But I think you made a really good point there, Gav, with
Mm.
you just want to see the level playing field. You want everyone to rock up
Yeah.
at a tournament and go, cool, I'm in
Yeah.
with a shot.
Yeah.
Not a
I
case
mean, I
of,
know. Yeah. I know that the books are never going to be balanced,
mm,
right? But why tip the scales even further one way for certain books, and rather than just having a bit more of a, you know, uh, otherwise, do you want to see all the competitive players just running those specific books that have those easy battle tactics to achieve?
well, the other issue with that is you take it like naturally, hyper competitive people will figure out all the cool tricks and the tech in the books fairly
Yeah.
quickly because they are hyper competitive people. That's what they enjoy.
Yeah.
What I really worry about is you're going to get a subset of 4 or 5 books that have easier battle tactics, and then all
Yeah.
the hyper competitive people are going to go to the 1 or 2 of those books that are the better books. So you will see like just over the course of a couple of months, all the really top tier players who want to win and want a podium at every
Hmm.
single event will gravitate towards 2 or 3 books,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is not what you want to see in the wider community because you want to rock up and you want to see everyone running their own cool stuff. You want to have fun games against different
Yeah.
opponents. There's nothing more disheartening going to a tournament and playing the same cookie cutter or even just the same faction or army 3 to 5 times
100%.
in a row. You get very
100%.
sick of facing Stormcast once you play 3 games in one day against them because you know all their tricks. They might be great people to play against, but it does
Yeah.
get to feel a bit same. So
Yes. Hundred
hopefully,
percent. I'd
hopefully with the
love to play three
seasons,
different armies. Yeah.
yeah, hopefully with the seasons, once Games Workshop release some more details about them, we'll kind of know what to expect. Are they going to be changing battle tactics? Are they going to be changing all the special rules? Are they just going to be updating battle plans? Is it going
Mm.
to be like more like an FAQ than a full release? No one knows, which makes it really hard to plan out the next round of the Gauntlet, which was meant to happen next year. but I have no idea what's happening, so I kind of don't want to commit to anything.
Secret squirrel.
Yeah, but I'm excited to keep running them.
Yeah.
It
It'd
seems
be a
that
shame
everyone,
if you didn't run them, to be honest. It would be a
yeah,
shame because
that's great.
it's brilliant.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's enjoying them, which is good. Which is
100%.
kind of the main reason I'm running them, just to get people in the community, get them playing games, meet new people, make new friends, and for everyone to have a great day, like you did at the last one, which is
Yeah,
fantastic to hear.
100%. Yeah.
Now, I was going to talk to you a bit about coming from one game to another and just kind of the benefits about that, but we're really getting on in time, so maybe we'll save that for another video.
No problem.
What I did want to touch on is we're both going to GoldCon, which is the next big tournament in Queensland. It's run by
Yeah.
Nicole
Yeah.
on the 13th and 14th of August.
Yes.
There are, as far as I know, there are still a couple of tickets available. So if you would like to play a guy who walks away with Best Sports Awards, definitely come to GoldCon because that's the next tournament you'll see him at.
Don't bring your son.
Yeah, if you bring a son, he might just concede. So
You can bring a son, just don't let it be purple.
after that, we have the next round of the Gauntlet. Gauntlet round 8 will be on the 21st of August at Battle Stations here in Toowoomba. And then the Northern Alliance guys are running a tournament in the north of Brisbane on the 27th of August. So August is going to be a huge month for AOS tournaments in southeast Queensland, which is fantastic because, like we said, people just want to play the game, especially with this new book. People just want to get in reps, figure out their cool new tech, figure out how to play it well,
Yeah.
and just get on the table and get having fun. And because that's why we do this hobby. So before
100%.
we sign off, Gav, do you have any shout outs?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out yourself and all of the TOs in Queensland. You know, Scott, Wyatt, Nicole, you, Henry. You know, all of the other guys that are stepping up and putting on events because, you know, we wouldn't have a community like we have without you guys stepping up and actually. I mean, you guys don't make a lot of money out of this at all, if any. You're actually probably losing money by doing it. So,
Yep.
you know, to give up your time and all of that is amazing. You know, like even the Brishammer boys, I think they've got an event coming soon as well. They had to shut down because of COVID. You got Gabe. You know, shout out to Gabe. Shout out to all the Brishammer boys and all that as well because you know Runax, all everything. It's amazing. We're so lucky to have the community here in Queensland that we've got. Yeah, it'd be a shame to lose it. So
Yeah. No.
yeah.
Thank you for that, and I can wholeheartedly agree with what Gav's saying. Is that my tournaments are amazing and everyone should come to them. But in all seriousness, we only have such a great AOS community because we've got people stepping up and running events and getting people together who are all obsessed with the same thing, which is what we all want to do. Like, we're all in this hobby to have fun, so
Yeah.
let's have games, have fun. And I know,
Have fun. It's a game. You can
yeah,
be competitive. You can laugh about stuff. It's it's fun. It's fun. It's fun when I lose.
yeah,
It's fun when I win, but it's fun when I lose as well.
yeah, yeah, and I absolutely love going to events. Like, I don't mind running them. Like Gav said, I'm definitely not making any money out of running them.
No, I dare say.
But it's great fun just to be in the room in that atmosphere and to be a part of everyone's ups and downs. But I love playing in tournaments as well. So every time someone else is running one, I'm usually one of the first people in line to get some games in. So, but thank you so much for coming on tonight, Gav. We'll definitely
Thanks for
have to
having
get
me.
you back to have a
Sure.
chat about different games and the benefit
Yep.
of playing different games and playing them competitively and kind of what you can bring from one game to another and how that all works together to make you into the wargamer that you are today. So thank you very
Yeah. Thank
much.
you very much. Yeah. I'm in the battle room at the moment. You see, this is the garage. See, I've got the board set up, ready to go. That's a funny map there. I don't know if you can see the logo on the side there. See?
Just going a little bit closer. Yep, yeah.
Right, hang on.
Just go down a bit.
Oh, down a bit. There you go.
There you go. There we go. Yep, yeah. No, and that's it. That's part of the reason I'm running the Gauntlet is to get the PMTT logo and brand out there. So, but thank you
Beautiful
everyone for
maps.
watching. and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.